What if you could look past a company's stock price, past the profits, and see its real impact on the world? Well, that's exactly what ESG reporting is all about. In this explainer, we're going to break down the key metrics that turn all that complicated corporate data into a story that's actually clear and powerful. Let's dive in. This is the big question that's totally reshaping business and investing right now. For so long, the bottom line was, well, the bottom line. It was all that mattered. But today, we've got a much smarter way to figure out how a company is really doing, and it all comes down to three little letters: E, S, and G. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the basics, what ESG reporting even is. Then, we'll take a deep dive into each of the three pillars: E for environmental, S for social, and G for governance. And finally, we'll see how all these numbers actually work in the real world. Okay, let's jump right into that big question. What on earth is ESG reporting? Well, at its core, it's a framework for looking at all the stuff that doesn't show up on a traditional financial statement. It's a whole new way of looking at performance. So you can think of ESG as a special kind of lens. Yeah, investors use it a lot, but it's way bigger than that now. It gives all of us, investors, customers, even employees, a standard way to see past the slick marketing and understand how a company actually behaves. It's really a tool for accountability, measuring its impact on the planet, on people, and on its own internal rules. Let's start with the E, environmental. This is all about a company's footprint on the planet, and honestly, it's usually the most data-heavy part of ESG. We're talking hard numbers, everything from carbon emissions to water use and waste. The place everyone starts is with greenhouse gas emissions. But here's the thing, not all emissions are the same. To really get the full picture, we have to break them down into three different categories, or what we call scopes. Okay, so let's break down these scopes. Scope 1 is the easy one. It's the direct emissions from stuff a company owns or controls. Think of their factories or their delivery trucks. Now, Scope 3, which you see here, is the big one. It's often the largest and the hardest to track because it covers all the indirect emissions in a company's entire supply chain, from the raw materials they buy to what happens when you, the customer, use their product. And sandwiched right in the middle is Scope 2. This is all about the electricity a company buys. And as you can see, there are actually two different ways to count it. The location-based method is simple. It just uses the average emissions from the local power grid. But the market-based method is way more interesting. It actually reflects the choices a company makes, like if they're actively buying power from a wind farm. It's a really important distinction. So when you want to know a company's total carbon footprint, you've got to add it all up. Scope 1 plus Scope 2 and Scope 3. That sum is what gives you the complete picture of its impact on the climate. But just knowing how much energy or water a company uses doesn't tell the whole story, right? For that, we need what are called intensity metrics. By dividing how much a company consumes by some kind of output, like revenue, we get a sense of how efficient it is. And for these metrics, a lower number is always better. It means the company is doing more with less. And of course, we need to track progress. Metrics like the renewable energy ratio tell us how much of a company's power is coming from clean sources, and the waste recycling rate shows how well it's managing its resources. These are the kinds of numbers that really show if a company is serious about sustainability. Okay, so we've talked about the planet. Now let's move on to the people with the S for social. This part is all about how a company manages its relationships with its employees, its suppliers, its customers, and the communities it's a part of. You can really think of the social pillar as the heart of ESG. It asks some pretty fundamental questions. Are people treated fairly? Are the products safe? Is the company a good neighbor? It's all about the human impact. A fantastic way to gauge a company's internal health is its employee turnover rate. It's simple. Are people happy enough to stick around? A high turnover rate isn't just a number. It's a massive red flag. It tells you something might be seriously wrong with the company culture or management. Here's another really critical social metric, the gender pay ratio. It's a stark, simple comparison of what men and women earn, on average, inside a company. This number just cuts right through all the corporate jargon and gives you a clear snapshot of how committed a company really is to pay equity. And what about safety on the job? Well, the total recordable incident rate, or TRIR, is the gold standard here. Because it's a standardized metric, it lets you make a real apples-to-apples comparison between companies. A low TIR score is a really strong sign that a company takes the health and well-being of its employees seriously. And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, the the G for governance. So if E is about the planet and S is about people, G is about the internal rulebook. It's the whole system of checks and balances that's supposed to make sure a company is run ethically and with transparency. A really important governance metric is board diversity. And why does this matter so much? Well, study after study shows that boards with people from different backgrounds just make better decisions. They're better at managing risk, and they avoid that dangerous groupthink. So this number is a pretty good proxy for smart, effective leadership. Now, this one sounds a little technical, but it is a huge deal. Is the CEO also the chairperson of the board? If the answer is no, that creates a super important check on power. It helps ensure the board, which is supposed to represent shareholders, can actually provide independent oversight. It's a cornerstone of good governance. This metric really gets to a company's ethical backbone. I mean, it's one thing to have a whistleblower hotline, right? It's another thing to actually investigate those reports and do something about them. A high closure rate shows that a company isn't just paying lip service to ethics. It's actually following through. Okay, so we've worked our way through the E, the S, and the G. We've got all these numbers and formulas and ratios. So now let's pull it all together and talk about why this whole framework is such a game changer. So why does all this stuff matter? Well, for starters, these metrics create a common language for accountability. For investors, they reveal hidden risks that you'd never see on a balance sheet. For us as consumers, they empower us to support companies that actually align with our values. And for the companies themselves, it creates a huge incentive to be more transparent and, frankly, just behave better. And really, that's the bottom line. You now have the tools to look under the hood of any company because you understand this new language of corporate responsibility. The question isn't just, what do they sell anymore? It's, how do they operate? So now that you know the language, what are you going to ask? I really hope this explainer has been a helpful guide for you. If you want to keep exploring how business, technology, and sustainability all fit together, please subscribe to Green Science by Zarq Ezaz. We do deep dives like this all the time. Stay curious and